Welcome to Status, your gateway to the decentralized web. As we become more connected via technology, we become part of a seemingly endless network of institutions and third-party services claiming to make our lives easier. These institutions serve as a trusted middleman to help facilitate our transactions. While this may sound great, serious problems exist. We now have a fragmented system of identities and passwords. We have placed far too much of our personal data in the hands of others, and we have given too much power to banks and legal systems. Luckily, there is another way. Enter the decentralized web and the Ethereum public blockchain. The blockchain is a decentralized database that stores a registry of assets, smart contracts and transactions across a globally connected peer-to-peer network. If used to its full potential, it will fundamentally change our conception of how the internet, finance, and law works. And it can completely eliminate our reliance on trusted third parties. It's not an app, it's not a company, it's not owned by anyone. Rather, it's an open system owned by everyone. So how do we interact with the next generation of the internet? How do we ensure it remains decentralized? Introducing Status. Just as browsers provide a gateway to websites and institutions, Status provides a gateway to decentralized apps and services. More than an app, Status is a community, governed by its own users, and gives access to a world free from controlling interests and censorship. It works with a number of decentralized apps built on Ethereum to replace your wallet and bank, combining them with a messenger and browser. Simply put, Status is an open portal to the future web. Meet Justin. Justin has recently moved from London to LA. It's a sunny morning, and Justin is ready to get his day started. He gets dressed, grabs his cell phone, and hits the road, feeling empowered with the capabilities of Status in his pocket. First stop is the local coffee shop. No wallet? No problem. Justin pays for his coffee with Ether from his Status wallet. While waiting for his coffee, he checks his stock portfolio and sees gold is up big overnight. Cha-ching! Time to cash out some of his holdings. Justin opens up Status and trades a portion of his Digix Gold tokens for a more stable currency. Not content with his gold earnings, he heads back to Status and starts scanning Ethlance for some work. He is a graphic designer and looking for a freelance gig. Within seconds, he finds numerous companies in his field looking for people just like him. He is in luck. He quickly finds a 2-week freelance gig for a local agency. They message back almost immediately. He is perfect for the job. They just need some background information before finalizing the contract. Via Uport, Justin shares the requested credentials to prove his identity. Justin has now paid for a coffee, conquered the markets, and landed a job, all while using Status. He has done this freely, without middlemen, and on his own terms. Status makes all of this possible in a simple and seamless way. Join Status now and become part of the decentralized web.
Welcome to the Status Global Hackathon. Over the course of the next week, you'll have a chance to work with a team to build a mobile dApp, chatbot, or command for the Ethereum network. We've got $25,000 in prizes to award to the top teams. I'm Ben Morrow, and I'm organizing the hackathon. Feel free to reach out to me on our Slack. You'll also get to know our founders, Gerard and Carl, this week. If you're watching this, you've probably read up on Status and what we're doing, but in case you're new to the community, I'd like to provide you a quick introduction. You've all heard of Bitcoin over the past couple of years. It was the first wildly successful cryptocurrency. The creator of Bitcoin figured out a way to create a limited asset that people could send in a secure way. We're coming up on 10 years the Bitcoin network has survived without any hacks or counterfeiting that would have destroyed its value. That is incredible. Ethereum builds on what Bitcoin started. There is a currency on the Ethereum network called Ether, but the real power comes from all the programming that developers can build on top of the currency. Recently, big companies are starting to see the potential in this technology. The Enterprise Ethereum Alliance consists of Microsoft, UBS, BBVA, Accenture, and Intel, among others. Ethereum is like the next version of the internet. You can write apps and send messages on the network. You can also write something called a smart contract. These contracts are like rules that control the flow of money. So for example, one day you could have a contract for a marriage or a business partnership that live on the network and are enforced with mathematics instead of lawyers. Status is a mobile operating system for Ethereum that runs on iPhone and Android devices. It allows you to run decentralized applications, or dApps, on your phone. These dApps run on the network, peer-to-peer, without any central server. You can also send private messages to your friends and transfer money, Ether, across the world in a very secure and nearly free way. Status is unique because previously, Ethereum users and developers were stranded on desktop devices. Currently, all of the gateways are trading and exchange websites. But that's not the way most people communicate and interact today. They use their phones. So Status is enabling you to use Ethereum on your phone. This hackathon is a culmination, 2 years in the making. We've been hard at work building the alpha versions of our smartphone apps. We've also been building a light client version of Geth and integrating the Whisper protocol. Now, we've released an experimental API that allows you to build dApps, chatbots, and commands for mobile devices. We're looking to get feedback from you about how all of this works. The TLDL, or Too Long Didn't Listen version of all of this is a development event for a decentralized mobile browser with encrypted messaging. I'm proud to be a part of this team. And now we'll go through a quick tutorial. Unfortunately, Andy couldn't be with us today, so he's pre-recorded this section. He used 0.9.7, and we're now on 0.9.8. These can't communicate with each other due to breaking changes in the Whisper protocol, so I'll interrupt this tutorial and let you know what's changed. Now I'll turn it over to Andy, who is Crypto Wanderer on our Slack. He's a core member of the Status team, and he's been hard at work preparing the tutorials in the docs. He'll show you both how easy to use and how powerful the Status API really is.
Hello, and let me start with an apology that I'm not able to be with you guys live. Unfortunately, I'm at my two beautiful redhead friends' wedding at the moment. But technology, like Hermione Granger, enables us to be in different places at the same time. So it's really, really great to be able to be here and explain the Status API and documentation. And I think it's also worth noting and just echoing what Ben's already said. It really is an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be part of such an amazing community and to see all the amazing open sourceness coming together and producing a really, really unbelievable technological achievements. And to be a small part of that is an absolute privilege. So without sort of any further ado, I'm going to get into walking you guys through the docs and showing you what's possible with the API in terms of adding dApps and decentralized chatbots, and just sort of familiarize everyone with how it all works. So let's go ahead and do a screen share. This is our documentation. You can see you can find it at docs.status.im. It is still a work in progress, but you should be able to get through it fairly easily. You can see that we're using the Hugo theme here, so all the sort of main reading information you'll need is found in the middle pane here. And then if you scroll down and go to the tutorials, you'll see that each sort of one is divided into different tabs, and for each tutorial we'll have 3 different tabs: DIY, Embark, and Truffle. And all the code that you will need for each of these apps can be found in the right-hand pane. Just for those of you who aren't aware, Embark and Truffle are 2 of the most popular frameworks currently available on Ethereum, and they make developing dApps and managing your contracts and getting all the code into one place much, much easier. Both of them are really, really great. Embark has come on a long way recently, and so has Truffle. Personally, I use Truffle. I find it the easiest, but I know that Embark is a really, really awesome framework, and Status, of course, supports both of them because we want to make it as easy as possible for you guys to contribute and to encourage as wide an array and as diverse an array of contributions as we possibly can, because this is all about growing the ecosystem and trying to sort of benefit everybody in the decentralized network. So yeah, you can sort of switch between them, and you'll see as you switch between the 3 tabs, each of the 3 different tutorials will go on that tab, so you can just sort of move from one smoothly to the other. So yeah, let's take a look at how you actually get through this stuff, and I'll start sort of with the most basic DIY app. I've gone ahead and sort of set up the structure for this stuff. Getting status dev cli, which is our bare bones development tools, and then making a directory with this little piece of HTML and JavaScript in it. So if we switch across here. I'll show you this directory. You can see there's my app.js and index.html. So all I really need to do is start a server. Let me just spell that right. See that it's putting out an address on 127.0.0.1.80.80 and also 192.168.80.80. So that's step one. Step two, and you'll be done, is all you need to do is use status dev cli tools to add the DApp. And this expects just a little bit of JSON with 3 fields. The first is the Whisper identity. We can call this hello. The next is the name. I'm super original, so we'll just go with a hello again. And then the final one is the DApp URL. This will be 192.168.0.100 on port 8080. Right. We can just close our JSON, and the last thing that we need to pass in here is the IP of the device. You'll see that I've got my device mirrored here. If you go to console and launch the debug, which I already have, it'll give you your device IP there. You'll see that if I hit those debug suggestions, I can turn it on or off.
Hey, this is Ben. Sorry to interrupt. In the latest version, you'll use status dev-cli scan to find the right IP address. And now back to Andy's tutorial.
So go and do that. So I've already got my device IP there. I can go back to my terminal. .0.101. You can see that the DApp bot has been added. If we go to it, browse, you can see there's our accounts, which is all we expect from that little piece of HTML and DApp. But this is really amazing, right? You can, in 2 or 3 short steps, already add your own DApp to status, and it takes 15 lines of HTML and about 6 of JavaScript. And maybe 3 terminal commands. So this is how sort of easy and intuitive these tools are, and it's really very, very exciting. I think you'll agree that the status team has managed to make it this easy. So next, I sort of want to show you the truffle stuff that we can set up. Truffle is the most complete part of our docs, so I sort of recommend using that. But like I say, Embark is a really great framework as well, and they've really improved a lot recently. So if that's your favorite, by all means, go with it. So yeah, you can take a read through the Truffle docs here. All that's really important to note is that you need to go get Test RPC, which is a simulation of the Ethereum network. So you don't really mine anything, but it's super useful for development and quickly iterating through test products. So we just need to start a test RPC node on port 856, sort of switch our status app to listen to that RPC port rather than the default one, which is listening to Ropsten. Then deploy some contracts and fire up our DApp. So let's see if we can get that all done. As per usual, I've already set up the directory here and cloned it from GitHub. What we'll need to do is just stop the server and, like I say, start test RPC on ports 8546. You can see it fires up there and gives you access to a whole bunch of accounts and private keys. It's listening on the right ports, which is perfect. So let's go and switch the node here. I'm going to use localhost just to show you that it's possible to do that as well. And you just need to pass in your device IP again. It's always important. And because I used localhost there, I'm just going to have to use some ADB magic to give status access to what it needs. And also Truffle serves, well, we can just first of all deploy our contracts to our new test RPC network. There we go, you can see, and if you come here, you can see your transactions have been accepted. And now Truffle serves its stuff on localhost as well, so we'll just need to give our status access to that. And it's on port 3000. And then all you need to do is pass in environment variable, which is your device IP, and run the start scripts. Let's take a look. It says our DApp has been added successfully. Let's go and see. And there you go. You can see that you get a fully mobile optimized DApp which can talk to contracts on your local network as you develop. It's pulling the correct value. The contracts that we deploy to test RPC are simple set and get, simple storage function, and they're storing a value of 5, so that's how we know that this is working. So the DApp part works in the web view. I've also, if you go and explore the Truffle docs a little bit further and get down sort of into the chat pods and the status command, you'll see that we actually provide the code necessary to start building chatbots, right? So this is pretty much the most simple function that we could think of. All it does is it listens for you to send a message to it and then replies with this quite dumb but rather flattering response. So again, all you sort of need here is kind of 10 lines of JavaScript and you can already start writing decentralized chatbots. And if you move further down, we start getting into the proper sort of status API functions. The first one is command here, and we can use it to build up another little greeter that will greet you from the other side this time. And then you can sort of go further down and start writing style containers for it. And if you scroll all the way down here, you'll see that we even give you some code to play around with locations. So I've gone and implemented some of this in our chatbots, and you'll see that's not what I wanted. You'll see that if I just close the web view here and type something to my bot, it should respond. There we go. You can see that the code is working as expected, and I can greet him either by sending a message or by typing this hello suggestion and sending it to him, and you'll see that he'll come back with hello from the other side. So that's really, really cool, right? We've got a DApp and a decentralized chatbot all living in the same status contact and talking to contracts that are on our local network that we're developing. I hope that you guys think that this is amazing as I do, because the first time that I saw this, it completely blew my mind. So yeah, we've added a truffle box, and we've managed to add our hello. So let's see if we can get through the last part of the documentation here, which is the embark. So you'll see that embark just requires like a little bit more config setup in terms of looking at the blockchain.json file and setting your machine IP and setting the RPC port rights. And then just adding a plugin for embark status. So again, I've gone and set this all up, and I'm just going to walk you through the basic steps. We can stop serving that and stop that test RPC network. I've set up the embark demo here, so all I need to do is run the embark simulator, which is just test RPC, but for embark. And because I've edited that blockchain.config file, you can see that I'm serving it on the right port there. I've already switched the node for the truffle demo. You would now go and do that same status dev class switch node. Just type it out for you there. Let's switch the node again to 8546. So let me just get into the Embark demo here. I've run the simulator. Embark, much like Status, manages completely compiling and running your contracts for you. So all you need to do is hit Embark Run. You'll see that it comes up with a pretty neat sort of terminal GUI, if that's how I can explain it, and deploys another simple storage contract. So all I need to do here is, again, add, let me just make sure Status doesn't go off here. Sorry. Add the Embark, and we just pass in the same JSON that it always expects, which is the Whisper identity. This one we can call Embark. The name, we'll just also call it Embark. This is the thing that appears as the name in the contact page. And the last thing, the dapp URL. The other option that you have here, instead of dapp URL, you can use bot URL, and the difference is, so Embark says it on 8,000. So yeah, the difference between dapp URL and bot URL is that if you pass in dapp URL, when you open the contact, it'll automatically open the web view, whereas if you use just bot URL, it will stay in the chat. So you can sort of toggle between those as suits your needs. And obviously the last thing that I need to pass in here again is my device IP. And let me just reverse that. Now I should be able to go to the Embark thing, which is added. And you can see this is not quite mobile optimized yet, but it's again a simple sort of set and get. Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. So I'll set the value at 10. That's been called, and if I get the value there, this contract is working as we expect, right? So that's really, really neat, and you can sort of like go through and have a look. And if you run an IPFS node and stuff, that will obviously appear there. So yeah, that is the Status API. I really hope, like I said, that you're as excited as I am about this. I'm really, really keen to see what you guys can build and what you can do with these amazing tools that the Status team is starting to provide. Obviously, the API is still very much in alpha, as is Status itself. So expect it to break sometimes, and expect it not to quite offer all the functionality that you might want. But we are working actively on it. It will get better with time. And I think that, just being able to do this is mind-boggling enough. And I'm sure that there are already people out there who are planning on building things which are significantly more complex and impressive than what I've managed to show you here. So with that, thank you so much for your time, and back to you, Ben.
Thank you for that awesome introduction, Andy. Once again, Andy is Crypto Wanderer on our Slack, and I'm Ben Morrow. Next, we'll go over the rules. All of the official rules are on our Hackathon webpage at hackathon.status.im. Starting now, you can work with a team to code your project. If you've yet to find a team, check out the Teammate Finder and the Community Ideas doc that are linked below in the YouTube description. Don't use any code that was written before now, unless it is already open source, or you're making an existing dapp mobile compatible and you've noted that in your GitHub issue RSVP. Speaking of the GitHub issue RSVP, you'll need to submit one of these if you plan to compete in the hackathon. This is how we'll keep in touch with your team. At the end of the hackathon, you'll submit your code with a pull request that fixes that issue number. This does a couple of things. All projects will be open source so that the judges can review your code. You will only be judged if you submit a pull request that fixes an issue number. In your pull request description, we recommend including a short 2-minute video demo of your project working. This will allow the judges to see it in action in case they can't get it running for themselves. But don't worry, projects will be judged on technical merit, not on marketing ability. We have high-profile contributors to the Ethereum ecosystem on our judging panel. Consensus, Mist, Aragon, ENS, Fans, and Embark are all represented. The judges will review your project after pencils down, and you will receive notes for feedback. There are just a couple of final things I'd like to add. If you are an iOS developer and you don't yet have the app, you can send a private message on Slack to Gerard Hope and include your email address. And lastly, our API is in alpha. It's very experimental. You might run into things that don't work. When that happens, let us know in the Hackathon channel on Slack, and we'll do our best to get it sorted. Thank you for making it to the end with me. I can't wait to check out your project.